So in abstract, we tell what we will discuss in this video. We will work backwards from y-DNA haplogroup Q, which behaves as the ancestor of all humans. And why did we start with haplogroup Q? That is because all ancestral markers indicate America as the ancestor of all humans. The dominant haplogroup, pretty much 100%, is Q. So that's why we will study Q, and we will see on the map that Q is present in all continents. And contrary to the ancestral markers, consensus holds on to Africa being the ancestor of all humans. And they always touted the San people or the Khoisan people, which you see here, and differently than Q. The maximum frequency is maximum 60% in very small areas. And on top of this San people, these high concentrations, is not the ancestor of A. The ancestor of A comes from somewhere else. Obviously, consensus thinks somewhere else in Africa, and they think about North Africa, but that's quite different than what they claim. They claim humans originate in sub-Saharan Africa, and there we only have a subclade of A, and this very limited areas. They live withdrawn. They were turned over twice in the last 2 millennia, but it's what consensus claims to be the ancestor of all humans. So A00, and it's found, it's located here, but in fact it's not found here, it's found in the Americas. So the deepest ancestor is found in the Americas. And the ancestor of the supposed ancestor, which is not the ancestor, is supposed to come from North Africa. And the deep ancestor, so this ancestor of the supposed ancestor is, at least in the initial studies, only 60,000 years old, which obviously is not sufficient to explain not even mitochondrial L that has its source in the Americas as well. So regarding haplogroup A, the supposed Adam haplogroup of ancestor of all humans, and mitochondrial Eve, supposed to be African Eve, is in fact American. So in accordance to the ancestral markers. We will give one example of in this video. And then what can be found in Africa is in this region. That is the region where the currents from Africa, from South America arrive. The gyre sweeps or lands whatever floats from the Americas on this coast. In fact, also this coast, but most of all here. And this is where the mitochondrial Eve is found, and where Adam is supposed by consensus. But Adam is found in the Americas. And mitochondrial Eve, supposed African Eve, is traced back to the Americas as well. So in a way, what we will do in this video and the next video is tracing back from Q, which is dominant in South, Central, and most of North America. It's also present in other parts of the world. We will trace back to the supposed ancestor, which is A, the Adam haplogroup. But we know when we see this that this A is a subclade, so it's not the ancestor. We know this Q is present and dominant and has pure blood group O in the Americas. Y-DNA haplogroup A has none of these in Africa. Further recent DNA discoveries prove that the Sand people are not the ancestors of A. The Sand people are not even their own haplogroup's ancestor. And by the way, their haplogroup is a very insignificant haplogroup in the world. So the Sand people are not even their own haplogroup's ancestors, let alone the ancestors of all humans. Despite this, the Sand people are still touted as the ancestors of all humans. This is simply so because the public is not aware of the here mentioned scientific results. Probably because there is no real interest in making the public aware. Nevertheless, you can check this relatively easily by yourself, even on Wikipedia. Quite differently from y-DNA haplogroup A, the American y-DNA haplogroup Q, it's according to the ancestral marker, the ancestor of all humans. And the by consensus supposed ancestor is not even the ancestor of the groups that are marked here. And we are only talking about 50,000 humans. They are the supposed ancestors of all this mosaic and of all these Q that is dominant, that is today still one of the dominant haplogroups of the world. In fact, maybe it doesn't seem like that, but R, which is an ancestor of Q and has its root in the Americas, so it's in fact Q, is the dominant haplogroup. The second dominant group is O. Okay, so the supposed ancestor group, Adam group, is not even its own ancestor. It's a subclade of A. And this Adam here, A00, is not found here where the star is. It is found in the Americas. It is found in the Americas. So what consensus supposes is that it is the deepest ancestor of supposed Adam haplogroup is has arrived during the conquest in the Americas, is a descendant of slaves that come from Africa. But this is never proven. And in fact, the ancestral markers and all the facts indicate that the ancestor, and that means the ancestor also of all people with black skin, lies in the Americas. You will see further evidence, scientific evidence of this in other videos. So there is no evidence for Adam in Africa, and there is no evidence for mitochondrial Eve in Africa. There's evidence, and all the ancestral markers point that they come out of the Americas, just as all modern humans, today living and those who lived in the past. To find our ancestor, we should consult our ancestral markers. The word tells it all. Ancestral markers will mark our ancestor or our origin. There are several ancestral markers, but I will start out with one of the most simple. Blood group O in this figure is a recessive blood group. That means that if you see a place with pure blood group O, which is, for instance, South America is pure blood group O, because it's between 90 and 100%. You won't find that anywhere else in the world, except perhaps for Central America. To simplify, we talk about South America, and it's more obvious and more significant. So South America is 90 to 100% blood group O. That means it's the purest blood group O continent in the world. Blood group O, pure blood group O, cannot come from anywhere else because it's a recessive blood group. If you would have migration from, just imagine, from Africa to the Americas, to South America, you would not have any more blood group O. So that means no migration from Africa took place. But that is so for Eurasia as well. There was no migration from Eurasia to South America. So there was also no migration through the Beringia Land Bridge to the Americas and to South America, because otherwise we wouldn't see this pure blood group, because it's a recessive blood group. So same for Africa. There was no migration from Africa to Eurasia, to the Americas, and to South America, because otherwise you wouldn't find the pure blood group O in South America. So this is just one ancestral marker, but it makes clear that South Americans didn't come from any other continent. So that means they are the ancestors of themselves. Since no other continent is ancestor of itself, South America is the ancestor of all humans of all the world. So this is an example of an ancestral marker that is as simple as that. We have other videos with other ancestral markers. They are not all of them that simple, but still some people will understand them more easily, or at least when all ancestral markers together point to South America, then we know even more sure that South America is the ancestor of all humans of all the world. And that is exactly what is the case. So all ancestral markers point to South America as the ancestor of all humans.